I played around an hour of Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2, and its coolest narrative feature is that it's about a boomer vampire. I've got 5 key takeaways, which I will be using my phone to refer to, just so I can make it quick and spiffy. It takes place in Seattle. Why Seattle? Because Seattle's full of weird people, so it makes it easier for vampires to blend in. There are a bunch of different clans that you will interact with. You've got the Bruja, the Tremere, the Banu Hakim, and the Ventrue. They all have their own unique kind of abilities and the way they kind of have interpersonal dynamics with each other. Another key takeaway is, surprisingly, it's a noir detective story. The other key takeaway, you play 2 characters in one. You actively are the Nomad, but inside the Nomad's brain is another vampire that was recently killed named Fabian. And the whole point of the experience is you're trying to solve the murder of Fabian and figure out what the hell is going on. And key element of Vampire the Masquerade is maintaining the masquerade. So that is a very, very important gameplay mechanic. If you've played the original many, many years ago, you'll know somewhat what you're in store for, and it's a very narrative-heavy, dialogue-driven RPG game, but at the same time, it's all about atmosphere, ambience, and also like a unique vampire world. So the gameplay demo that I played starts off with you picking between a male or a female character. I picked the female because cooler voice, and effectively you wake up and you're like, what the hell's going on? I've been asleep for a long time. Why am I here? How did I fall asleep? How has the world changed around me in the time I've been asleep? And when I said earlier that it's about a boomer, this character, the Nomad, has been asleep for so long that when you reappear, the world is strange and alien. Technology has advanced, both in terms of the technology that you interact with and how that technology impacts you as a vampire and vampires as a species. So now you've got to figure out what the hell guns are, because guns exist now. There's a computer now, so what is that? And to help you guide you through it and guide the Nomad and both you as a player through it, you have Fabian, who's another vampire who was killed under mysterious circumstances, has just learned that he was killed under mysterious circumstances, doesn't know why he is killed. He's inside your head and help kind of like explain everything that is happening to you. The area that I played was at the very start of the game. So after killing a few random security guards that suddenly happen upon me, you go out into Seattle and it's an open world. I don't want to say it's a completely open world. It was somewhat linear in how we could go through it, and it's like contained areas, which is kind of similar to the original Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. But my whole first mission was to find Fabian, use my vampiric abilities to follow like a trail and find my way back to Fabian's body and figure out what happened there. Along the way, I had the opportunity to like scale buildings and interact with other characters, NPCs. The key part of it is that you need to be careful about what you do when and who sees you, because like I said earlier, there is the idea of the masquerade, which is making sure that you're not doing anything that pulls the veil down on vampire society and gives the game a way to reveal to humans that you exist and you've integrated into society, and in many ways you kind of control it and feed off of it, for want of a better phrase. When I was playing, there was a moment where I was taking a shortcut to get to my key point by climbing the side of a building, but someone saw me do it, and when I came out on the other side, I went into like a vampire run, which allows you to almost parkour over obstacles in the environment. And I wasn't paying attention to the meter that tells you how much of the masquerade you're kind of like breaking down. And by the time I got to the point where I was trying to go to, everyone knew where I was. Cops were there, people were like attacking me, and I didn't last very long. So that was a cool element of it. And then I started to interact with different elements of the vampire world. I immediately ran into the sheriff, who is like maintaining the masquerade, and kind of came up to me and said like, don't like you, I don't know what you're up to, you've got one day to get whatever you need to do done and then get the hell out of Seattle, or there's going to be hell to pay. And that's kind of like what the story element of it entailed. In terms of gameplay interactions and mechanics, other than the traversal stuff, there's some basic combat stuff. You have like a melee attack. You're a vampire, so very powerful. So if you're attacking humans, just a single punch will send them like ragdolling around like corridors and away from you. When you're fighting ghouls or vampires or whatever it may be, it's a little more grounded, like charge attacks and that kind of stuff. The cool stuff is in the actual powers and abilities that you have, which are linked to the actual kind of vampire clan that you pick. My one was all about manipulating and dominating the enemies. So I was able to like summon a shadowy kind of like trap that kept people in place, lock them down for a few seconds so I could attack them enough to weaken them and then feed off of them. So I didn't get a chance to explore the full breadth of the skill tree, but what I did provided some nice kind of like wrinkles to the combat, and I could see how if it's done properly it could develop into a much more complicated and satisfying system as well when I'm trying to like in combat. How much combat is involved is kind of up to you, I believe, because Vampire the Masquerade is very much narrative and dialogue driven. The stuff that really stuck out to me and the stuff that really jived with me was the kind of talking and dialogue and interacting with other NPCs, and you know, the Mass Effect of it all, or the Vampire the Masquerade of it all, where a lot of the conversations, learning about the world, learning about how the vampire society has progressed, and experiencing, you know, characters and getting to know them and maybe make enemies, make friends and that kind of stuff. So an exciting update for Vampire the Masquerade, which has had a rather tumultuous journey in development, now currently under the stewardship of the Chinese room, which is an unexpected pick, but makes a lot of sense because they know how to make games that are very atmospheric and driven by dialogue and narrative and that kind of stuff. So I'm very, very excited to spend a little more time with it. It seems like it's got a lot of potential, and I think it's fair to say that video games have come a really long way since Pac-Man. Thank you for watching.